Hey art fans, this is Kevin from NVIDIA. You are about to see incredible artwork from the most amazingly talented artists on the web, thanks to NVIDIA GPUs. First up, Toni Bratincevic, a 3D generalist from Blizzard Cinematics. Toni's interest in philosophy and narrative, combined with exceptional craftsmanship, produces pieces like this one called Age of Vultures. Toni used 3D Studio Max, Redshift, and a Quadro M6000. He rendered it at 1 hour at 4K resolution. Now, if you look closely, you'll see a temple full of bird creatures wearing ceremonial red robes and creepy masks. These masks were inspired by those worn by doctors attending to bubonic plague victims in medieval Europe. I don't know about you, if I had the bubonic plague and one of those guys showed up, I'd be freaking terrified. Anyhow, from their mouths, a tube apparatus connects to a central pool of water fed by a steampunk-inspired machine called the Purifier. By collectively sharing in the machine's life-giving water source, these vultures all look similar because they've lost a certain element of individuality. Toni says these personal illustrations give him the freedom to fail and start over again, which is not a bad thing because he always learns something new and further develops as an artist. For Toni, it satisfies an internal creative hunger where he can visualize captivating ideas and concepts. Ian Spriggs has built a name for himself doing amazingly photorealistic CG portraits that leap over the dreaded uncanny valley. A lot of his work is inspired by the masters, like Rembrandt and Vermeer, like in his recent piece, Portrait of Andre. Check out the incredible attention to every detail. You can see the tear ducts in his eyes. You can see the water in his eyelids. Look at the individual skin pores. Look at these carefully styled strands of hair on his beard. Each one of them were manually placed by Ian. I mean, really, come on. With a bold contrast of light and shadow. Ian uses Maya, Mudbox, V-Ray, and Photoshop, rendering this in 30 minutes on 4 NVIDIA Quadros. So this is a portrait of Andre. Who is Andre? He's dedicated himself to his art conference THU. It's like a cross between TED Talks and Burning Man for visual effects artists. In fact, if you look closely on Ian's arm, that tattoo is actually the logo for his conference. By creating this portrait, Ian has embodied Andre's philosophy that art connects us. It is our thoughts and our voice. It's a way of communicating with everyone. Next up is Daily Stories by Stuzor. Stuzor is part of a small group of prolific digital artists on Instagram who commit themselves to creating an illustration every day. That's some serious dedication. For the past several years, Stuzor has faithfully created thousands of images, calling it a daily exercise for your creative mind. Using 2 NVIDIA GTX 1070s, Stuzor uses Cinema 4D and Octane to render these in 5 to 15 minutes. This piece, called Artifacts, is reminiscent of the monolith encounter in Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey. In Journey's End, a robed traveler ascends a staircase through a glowing rectangular gateway. The cape, flowing in the wind, is meant to represent how life can be chaotic and turbulent, yet you can remain steady in your journey, even to the very end. Stuzor encourages everyone to try creating something every day for a month. If you stick with it, you'll be able to look back and see how much progress you've made, which can be rewarding in and of itself. Finally, we have this fun, quirky piece, Attack from Outer Space by Christian Hecht. In Attack from Outer Space, an idyllic 1950s Main Street, USA, is invaded by flying saucers and rampaged by a giant robot with a laser-blasting cyclopic eye. Using NVIDIA's RTX GPUs, Attack showcases feature film quality rendering techniques like ray tracing in real time using Unreal Engine 4 to render this at 40 frames per second. Note the reflections in the windows and on the giant robot's soft-brushed metal armor, as his laser blasters highlights UE4's real-time destruction physics of classic cars and buildings that burst like popcorn. The flickering image at 24 frames per second and clackety sounds of a film projector makes this trailer feel like an authentic 1950s movie production. The hand-painted faux mountain backdrop and the shallow depth of field make for a miniature scale, and the eerie, simplistic soundtrack nails the tone perfectly. Having created this demo over the course of just 4 weeks solely by himself in his free time, Christian's Attack from Outer Space has helped kick off the NVIDIA RTX game revolution. Okay, that was some pretty insane artwork. Speaking of, share your artwork at #StudioShare for a chance to be featured, and follow us at NVIDIA Creators to see the latest amazing eye candy.